close your eyes now and allow yourself to let go, feeling the soft weight of your body sinking just a little deeper into comfort. Perhaps you notice the rhythm of your own breath, flowing gently in and out, like a tide moving across a quiet shore. There is no rush, no hurry, only this quiet moment where time slows down and the world grows hushed. As you listen, imagine a gentle warmth wrapping around you, like the glow of a candle flame, steady and calm. With every breath, you drift deeper into stillness, as though the air itself carries you into rest. And now, our story tonight begins. It begins in a quiet workshop, tucked away in the heart of a medieval village, where the cobblestone streets grow hushed after sunset, and only the occasional bark of a dog or the faint toll of a distant bell disturbs the silence. The candle maker's workshop stands at the edge of a narrow lane, its windows glowing softly, like warm amber lanterns in the night. Inside, the air is thick with the scent of beeswax, sweet and earthy, mingling with the faint smoke of the hearth fire. Wooden shelves line the walls, stacked with bundles of dried herbs, jars of resin, and carved wooden molds in every shape, slender tapers, stout pillars, even delicate votives etched with tiny patterns. On the workbench, a great pot of beeswax warms over the fire, its surface shimmering like liquid gold. The slow crackle of the fire fills the air, a soft rhythm that feels almost like a heartbeat of the room itself. The candle maker, a gentle soul named Elias, moves slowly, carefully, his hands steady as he stirs the wax with a wooden ladle. His face is lined, though not with sorrow, rather with years of patience, years of watching flame after flame rise from his work, lighting the homes, chapels, and hearts of those who carried them away. Elias whispers to himself as he works, as though speaking to the wax, to the fire, to the light that will soon be born. Steady flame, gentle flame, you will guide their prayers, you will soothe their dreams. Outside, the night is cool, the faint rustle of leaves carried in through the shutters. Somewhere, an owl hoots from the church steeple, its low call echoing through the village. But inside all is warmth, all is quiet. The glow of the workshop is a little world of its own. Elias dips his ladle, pouring the molten wax into a carved mold. It flows slowly, a golden stream that fills the wooden shape. The scent deepens, warm, honeyed, with just a whisper of smoke. The air seems to hum with it, a perfume of earth and hive, as though the summer fields where bees once gathered still lived inside it. As the wax cools, he lowers a wick into place, his hands gentle, his eyes calm, and he waits. There is never any hurry here. Candles cannot be rushed, for they are born of patience, of time, of stillness. And so, the workshop hums with that stillness. Every flicker of the hearth flame, every sigh of wind at the shutters, feels like part of a lullaby. Now, dear listener, imagine yourself seated in a small wooden chair in the corner of this workshop. You can feel the warmth of the fire, see the golden glow across the wooden beams, hear the slow drip of cooling wax, the faint crackle of firewood. Elias works quietly nearby, and you are safe here. The world outside does not matter now. Here, there is only the gentle flame, and the peace it brings. Allow yourself to breathe deeply, as though you are breathing in that beeswax sweetness, that golden light. With every breath you grow heavier, calmer, drifting, and as you drift, the story carries you further. It is said in this village that candles hold more than light. They hold whispers of the past, echoes of the prayers spoken before them, and dreams of those who slept beneath their glow. Children are told that if you gaze at a flame long enough, you may glimpse a story in it, a story just for you. Elias knows this well. Though he never tells the villagers outright, he believes his candles carry more than wax and wick. Each one feels like a vessel, a keeper of quiet magic, woven from the patience of his hands and the stillness of his heart. When he was a boy, he too had watched a flame late at night, and swore he saw shapes in it, shapes that told him of journeys he would one day take. And so, though he became a candle maker instead of a knight, instead of a scholar or a traveler, he knows his path is still one of light. Tonight, he prepares a special candle. Not for the market, not for the chapel, not for the manor house on the hill. This one is for himself. He selects a tall wooden mold, its sides carved with simple vines and leaves. The beeswax he chooses is from a jar set aside months ago, wax gathered in midsummer, when the meadows were rich with wildflowers. Its scent is stronger, sweeter, as though the sun itself was trapped within it. Elias pours carefully, his hand steady, his eyes reflecting the molten gold. The flame of the hearth flickers against his face, and for a moment, it looks as though his own eyes carry tiny flames. He lowers the wick slowly, pressing it into place, and waits once more. This candle will burn tonight, as he sits in silence, listening to the whisper of flame. And so, the story settles deeper into the night, into the rhythm of the workshop, into the gentle drift of dreams. The evening deepens, and in the candle maker's workshop, the special candle has cooled, the shape now firm, the surface smooth as ivory. Elias lifts it gently from the mold, running his fingers along the carved vines and leaves. He exhales softly, as though even his breath must be gentle in its presence. He carries the candle to the table by the hearth. The firewood glows with a low, crackling red, embers whispering in the quiet. He places the candle down, takes a flint, and strikes it once, twice, until a spark leaps forth. The wick catches, a faint hiss, a bloom of golden light. The flame sways for a moment, then steadies, casting a circle of warm glow that reaches across the beams of the room. Elias leans back, watching. Always, there is something to see in a flame, if only one waits long enough. And tonight, as he gazes, the world begins to soften. The shadows shift slowly, curling at the edges. The flame grows taller, brighter, until it feels as though it is more than fire, as though it is a door, opening into memory. The first vision is of the chapel, the very place where his candles burn each morning and evening, lighting the stone altar, filling the air with honey-sweet smoke. He sees the monks in their robes, heads bowed in prayer, their voices low and melodic, like water flowing across stone. The candle flames there flicker gently, and Elias feels a deep sense of peace. He remembers the abbot once telling him, "Light is a prayer in itself, Elias. Even when no words are spoken, a flame carries devotion upward." He had never forgotten that. And so each candle he makes, he pours not just wax, but patience, and silence, and care. The vision fades, and the flame sways once more. The second vision is of a festival in the village square. He sees children running with laughter, candles set inside hollowed turnips, their faces glowing from within, like tiny lanterns of mischief. The air smells of roasted chestnuts, mulled wine, wood smoke curling up into the night sky. Musicians play fiddles and pipes, while merchants cry their wares. Elias remembers those nights well, when his candles were placed in the windows of every home, guiding weary villagers back from the revels, leading them through the darkened lanes. He can almost hear the distant bells of the church, calling midnight across the square. Again the flame shifts, and with it the vision dissolves. The third vision is of his childhood home, a cottage far smaller than the workshop he now keeps. He sees his mother by the fire, her hands mending cloth, his father working a simple mold of clay, trying to shape the first candle they ever made. It had dripped, crooked, imperfect, but oh, how it had burned. He remembers sitting by that flame, watching it dance across the rafters, thinking to himself, "This is a friend. This is a companion in the dark." The warmth of that memory lingers in him still, as the flame before him bends, softens, and returns to simple light. Outside, the wind rustles the trees again, a low sigh that brushes against the shutters. The owl calls once more from the steeple. The village is asleep now, dreaming under the same moon. And in the workshop, Elias continues to gaze at the flame until his eyes grow heavy. He whispers, almost as if to the listener, "To you, every flame holds a story, and tonight, perhaps you will dream one of your own." He leans back in his chair, closing his eyes just a little, allowing the glow to wash over him. The warmth of beeswax, the hum of the fire, the weight of stillness, all blending into one gentle lull. Now, dear listener, allow yourself to feel the same warmth. Imagine the glow of that candle on your own skin, its gentle light flickering across your hands, your face, your breath. Each flicker is like a sigh of comfort, each glow like a touch of calm. Breathe deeply, and let your own thoughts soften, as though they too are wax, melting into quiet pools of stillness. There is nothing to do now, but rest in the circle of light. As Elias drifts into his own dreams, the candle flame seems to grow brighter still, casting him into a journey beyond the workshop. He finds himself walking through a forest at dusk, the trees tall and hushed, their leaves whispering with the wind. In his hand he carries the candle. This flame does not waver, not even in the breeze. It lights a path of moss and stone, guiding him deeper into the woods. Fireflies rise from the undergrowth, their tiny lights dancing in the dark, mirroring the candle's flame. The air smells of pine and earth, cool and damp, yet the warmth of the candle keeps him steady. Ahead he sees a small wooden bridge, arched over a brook that chatters softly as it runs. The reflection of the flame ripples across the water, as though two lights burn side by side. Crossing, Elias feels an old comfort, the same comfort he once felt as a child, when his parents carried a lantern to light the way home. Beyond the bridge, he comes to a clearing. In the center stands a stone circle, moss growing thick across its base. He has never seen it before, yet it feels ancient, as though it has always been waiting for him. He places the candle upon a flat stone, and instantly, the circle seems to awaken. The stones shimmer with faint carvings, patterns long forgotten. The flame glows brighter, its light stretching farther, illuminating not just the clearing, but what lies beyond the trees. He hears whispers, soft and low, like voices carried on the wind, not frightening, but soothing, ancient, familiar. The candle flickers once, and Elias understands. These are the stories of all the flames that ever burned. Every candle he made, every lantern lit, every torch held against the dark. Their voices live here, woven into light. He listens, he breathes, he lets the voices surround him, until it feels as though he too is made of flame, burning gently, steadily, forever. And as he stands in the circle, you too are invited to listen, to feel the warmth of countless lights, stretching across time, guiding prayers, soothing dreams. You breathe it in, and drift deeper still. The candle's flame glows bright in the circle of stones, and the whispers of old light continue, soft and rhythmic, like waves brushing against a quiet shore. Elias closes his eyes, letting those whispers move through him. He does not need to understand every word. The voices are older than language itself, older than memory, but the feeling they carry is clear. Comfort, continuity, the gentle truth that every flame is kin to another. When he opens his eyes again, the forest clearing has changed. The moss glows faintly, silver under the candle's light, and the stones shimmer as though polished by moonlight. The air is still, yet alive, as if time itself pauses to listen. And from the shadows of the trees, figures begin to appear. They are not threatening. They are soft silhouettes, shaped from light itself. Some tall, some small, all moving with the calm grace of drifting smoke. They gather around the circle, faces illuminated only by the candle's glow. Elias feels his breath catch for a moment, but then, a calm warmth fills him, for he recognizes them. These are the souls of those who once lit candles in his village. The old woman who prayed each dawn for her children, the shepherd who carried a taper across fields at night, the mother who placed a candle by her child's bedside, the monk who chanted in the chapel glow. Each face is familiar, though softened by time, by the haze of memory. They smile gently, their forms swaying with the flame. One steps closer, a boy of no more than 10, carrying a small stub of wax in his hands. Elias remembers him, a child from years ago, who had come into the workshop with a single coin, to buy the smallest candle he could afford. The boy had said it was for his sister, who was afraid of the dark, and Elias had given him not one candle, but 3, for fear should never go unanswered. The boy's figure bows slightly, and Elias feels a softness swell in his chest. Every candle given, every flame shared, has returned here. Nothing was lost. The figures begin to hum softly. Not words, just a tone, deep and low, as though the very air vibrates with it. The sound joins with the crackle of the candle's flame, becoming one. Elias sits cross-legged before the stone, his hands resting on his knees, and closes his eyes once more. He allows the sound to surround him, to move through his breath, to become part of him. And slowly, he feels himself begin to drift. The dream shifts. He is walking again, but now through the streets of his village. Only they are not quite as he remembers. The lanes are wider, the cobblestones smoother, the air filled with an otherworldly glow. Every window holds a candle, every doorway a lantern. The entire village is lit as though the stars themselves had come down to rest upon earth. Children laugh as they chase the lights, their small tapers leaving trails in the air. Mothers and fathers sit outside, their faces glowing with warmth. And above it all, the church bells ring slow and deep, not to mark the hour, but to keep rhythm with the light. Elias walks among them, candle in hand, and every person he passes nods, their eyes filled with quiet gratitude. He does not speak. Words are not needed here. The flame speaks for him. At the far end of the lane, he sees the manor house on the hill. Its windows, too, are lit with candles, each one steady and bright. He remembers delivering them there in his youth, carrying heavy bundles up the slope, his arms aching but his spirit proud. The noble family had always taken his candles for their feasts, their banquets, their vigils, and yet, here in this dream, the manor seems softer, less distant. Its light blends with the rest of the village. No richer, no poorer, just another glow among many. This, Elias realizes, is the truth of the flame. It belongs to everyone. It makes no difference between noble and shepherd, between monk and child. In its glow, all are equal. The dream shifts again. Now he is walking through a monastery cloister, its stone arches echoing with silence. Candles line the walls, hundreds of them, their flames rising like a forest of golden trees. The monks pass by in quiet rows, their footsteps soft, their faces serene. They do not look at Elias, yet he feels they know he is there. They hum softly, their chants blending with the flicker of light. And for a moment, Elias feels as though he, too, is part of their prayer. Not with words, but with presence, with stillness, with flame. Dear listener, as you imagine these countless candles, filling cloisters, villages, festivals, homes, let yourself drift with them. Each flame is steady, each one soft, and together they form a sea of calm. Perhaps you can see it now in your own mind, 1,000 little flames, all swaying gently in the quiet, their warmth wrapping around you, their glow guiding you deeper into rest. Breathe with them, one breath in, one breath out, like a flame that sways, yet never goes out. Elias's dream carries him onward still. Now, he stands at the edge of a great harbor. Ships rest at anchor, their masts rising tall against the star-swept sky. Lanterns swing from their decks, casting trails of light across the black water. Sailors move quietly, their voices low, their eyes on the glow that guides them safely to shore. Elias walks along the wooden pier, hearing the creak of planks beneath his feet. the lap of water against the posts. Every lantern here burns with wax he once poured. Every ship carries a piece of his workshop into the world. And though he has never traveled beyond his village, his light has, his work has journeyed farther than he ever could. He feels the truth of it in his heart, that a candle's flame is a traveler, wandering without end, touching places its maker may never see. The dream fades slowly, like mist thinning at dawn. The harbor dissolves, the cloister, the village square, until once more, Elias finds himself seated in the stone circle of the forest, the candle glowing before him. The figures of light remain, watching silently, their forms shimmering like gentle smoke. Elias bows his head in gratitude, not with words, but with the quiet humility of one who knows that even the smallest flame can carry eternity within it. The figures nod, and one by one, they fade back into the shadows. The circle grows still again. Only the candle remains, burning steady and true. Now Elias feels his body heavy, his breath slow. Sleep tugs at him, as though even within the dream, a deeper dream waits. He lies back upon the moss, his candle glowing at his side, and lets his eyes fall closed. The forest hums softly, the brook murmurs, the owls sing low, and with every sound, every flicker of light, he drifts into silence, into peace, into rest. And you, dear listener, may drift as well. Feel the weight of your own body now, resting heavy, calm, safe. Imagine the candle burning gently in your room, its flame steady, its warmth wrapping around you like a blanket of light. It will not waver, it will not fade. It is here to guide you, just as it guides Elias. Breathe once more with it, in and out, soft, steady, slow. And if your eyes have not yet closed, let them close now. Let the flame carry you into dreams, into silence, into sleep. The night stretches on, and Elias rests in the mossy clearing, the candle glowing steady at his side. The forest hums, the brook murmurs, the air feels as though it has always waited for this quiet moment of stillness. Though he lies with his eyes closed, his spirit stirs, drawn gently forward, and soon, the dream within the dream unfolds once more. This time, Elias finds himself walking along a long stone road, the surface smooth, its edges lined with wildflowers. The road stretches out before him endlessly, the horizon glowing with faint light. He carries the candle still, its flame burning bright though no breeze touches it. On either side of the road, fields ripple like seas of gold. Wheat and barley bend in the night wind, their stalks whispering as they brush together. The sound is soft, like distant waves, or like pages of a great book being turned. He walks slowly, each step steady, each breath calm. The candle's glow spills ahead of him, lighting not only the path beneath his feet, but the quiet truth of the journey itself, that he walks not alone, but with every flame that has ever burned. Far ahead, the road leads him to a stone bridge. Beneath it flows a river wide and deep, its surface silver with moonlight. The current is strong, its voice loud, a rush and roar that fills the air. Yet when Elias steps upon the bridge, the roar softens, as though the river, too, wishes to listen to the candle's flame. He pauses midway, leaning on the worn stone rail, watching the glow ripple across the water. The flame reflects clearly, a twin of itself, dancing in the dark current, yet never extinguished, and he feels a truth rising in him, gentle as dawn, that even when one flame fades, its light is carried on by countless others. Nothing is ever truly lost. As he continues across the bridge, a pilgrim appears, walking slowly toward him. The pilgrim's robe is simple, dust clinging to its hem, a staff in his hand. Around his neck hangs a small lantern, its flame faint but steady. The pilgrim bows his head in greeting. "Your light burns strong," he says softly. Elias nods, and without words, he lowers his candle, touching its flame to the lantern's wick. The pilgrim's light brightens instantly, growing steadier, stronger. The pilgrim smiles. One flame may guide one traveler, but shared, it guides the world. And with that, he continues on his path, his lantern glowing bright into the distance. Elias watches him go, the words echoing in his heart, before turning again to follow the road. The dream shifts, and now Elias stands within a great hall of stone, its high arches lost in shadow. Long tables stretch across the chamber, set with pewter cups and wooden platters, and everywhere, candles, hundreds, perhaps thousands, lining the walls, burning upon the tables, hanging from great iron chandeliers. Their flames shimmer together, like a sea of stars held within stone. Knights and ladies, servants and minstrels, all gather at the feast. Their voices are soft, their laughter gentle, as though the hall itself demands quiet reverence for the glow. Elias moves among them unseen, watching the play of light across their faces, the way shadows soften, the way eyes brighten, and he knows, these candles are his, wax poured by his hands, wicks set by his patience, flames kindled by his devotion. The great hall seems to breathe with the warmth of it, and Elias feels a swelling pride, not boastful, but humble, for he sees now the reach of his work, the way a single workshop's flame can fill a hall, a village, a world. Dear listener, imagine yourself in that hall now, surrounded by warmth, by glow, by the soft hum of voices. The candles stretch endlessly, their flames swaying gently in rhythm with your breath. Each one is steady, each one soft, each one guiding you deeper, and deeper still. You do not need to speak. You do not need to move. Simply breathe with the flame, and let the glow carry you. The feast fades. The hall dissolves. Elias now stands in a field of stars. Above, the night sky stretches wide, yet the stars are close, so close he feels he could reach out and touch them. Each one is a flame, burning quiet, burning eternal. And as he gazes upward, he realizes they are not only stars, they are candles, millions of them, suspended in the heavens. Some are tapers, some pillars, some no larger than a thumb, yet all burn with the same golden light. The sky itself is a great cathedral of flame, infinite and calm. Elias feels tears sting his eyes, not of sorrow, but of awe. He holds up his candle, and in that moment, it becomes one among the stars, not less, not more, but equal, another voice in the eternal chorus of light. And so the dream softens once more, the stars dimming, the field fading, until Elias returns to the quiet forest clearing. The candle still burns by his side, steady as ever. He opens his eyes slowly, breathes deeply, and whispers, "Thank you." The words are not for himself, but for the flame, for the countless souls it has touched, for the stillness it has given him. Now, dear listener, as you rest here with Elias, imagine the glow of that same candle by your side. Its light is soft, steady, eternal. It does not falter, it does not fade. Keeps watch while you sleep. Feel its warmth against your skin, its calm wrapping around you. With every breath, you grow heavier, calmer, safer. The flame will remain, guiding you into silence, into dreams, into the deepest rest. And so, as Elias closes his eyes again, you too may let yours close, knowing the flame keeps watch, and will never leave. The night had deepened, the stars had wheeled a little further across the heavens, and the village was wrapped in the kind of hush that made even time itself seem drowsy. The candle-maker's workshop glowed like a sanctuary, a gentle pool of light in the darkness, as though the earth itself had decided to keep this little corner alight while all else slumbered. The beeswax had cooled, the molds had been emptied, and the shelves now gleamed with rows of freshly poured candles, each one smooth and perfect, with little threads of wick standing tall like tiny spires of devotion. He sat quietly before them, almost as though he were sitting in the presence of something holy. For in truth, in those days light was holy. Each flame, when lit, seemed more than wax and wick. It was a prayer made visible. It was hope, warmth, and memory, and as he watched his rows of candles, he whispered little blessings under his breath. Blessings for travelers who would light one in a small chapel on the road. Blessings for monks, kneeling through the long hours of midnight, reading ancient texts by candlelight. Blessings for children who would sleep soundly under their parents' roof, a single flame glowing gently in the corner. He whispered blessings for kings and queens, for farmers and millers, for weary pilgrims, for sailors far at sea. For all of them, he poured his quiet devotion into the light. And outside, a soft wind stirred, brushing past the shutters, whispering along the eaves as if the world itself carried his blessings outward into the night. The candle-maker leaned back, his chair creaking softly beneath him, and let his eyes drift shut. He imagined the places his candles would travel. A monastery far to the north, where the stones were cold and the air sharp with the bite of winter, but where a single candle could bring warmth to a reader's hands. A village across the river, where a family would gather around their hearth, their supper blessed by the glow of his handiwork. He thought of distant lands, of ships braving the seas, of towers rising in foreign cities, all touched by the simple flame. In his dreaming mind, the flicker of a candle became a story unto itself. A flame danced and wavered, and with it came voices, laughter, whispers, secrets shared, and vows spoken. A candle bore witness to life in all its quiet details. And he, with his humble skill, had become a guardian of these moments. The night stretched on. A soft drizzle began outside, the rain pattering gently on the roof, a soothing counterpoint to the steady silence of the workshop. The air filled with the sweet scent of beeswax, richer now as the heat from the day's pouring lingered in the room. The fragrance was like honey and earth, like summer fields caught in a vessel of warmth. And still he sat, drifting in and out of slumber, as though his body were sinking into the very rhythm of the world. His thoughts became like the flames he tended, slow, flickering, wandering, until they curled into nothing but light. Our story, whispered the soft current of time, is not only of wax and flame, but of memory and dreaming. For what is a candle but a memory of the sun, caught and carried into the night? And so the candle-maker dreamed, his heart wrapped in quiet, his soul glowing gently as the workshop itself.